From Cichy Stadium in Fargo, North Dakota, good evening, everybody. I'm Jed Thomas alongside my partner Braden Altringer as we get set for North Dakota high school football action as the Shanley Deacons get ready to take on the Watford City Wolves. Well, folks, it doesn't get much better than this. The end of Shanley's homecoming week culminating in this big game. The 2-0 Deacons look to remain red hot, trying to pick up their third win in a row to start off the season against a very hungry Watford City team. They've started off 0-2, but they are looking for a win. They traveled a long way to get here, looking to pull off the big-time upset, trying to spoil Shanley's homecoming. The energy can be felt here all throughout the stadium. Everybody's ready for what should be a great game here, folks. For now, we're going to have to send things over to the PA announcer, but do not go anywhere. We got a great night of football coming up for you in just a few minutes.
And homecoming game featuring the Watford City Wolves and your Shanley Deacons. The Shanley High School campus, which includes the stadium, is tobacco, drug, and alcohol-free. Smoking, drugs, and alcohol are prohibited on the school grounds of Shanley. Also, due to the field turf, sunflower seeds are prohibited in the stadium bleachers and the surrounding area field. Thank you for your cooperation in these matters. Concession stand and restrooms are located at the north end of the stadium. At this time, we ask that you please rise as Father Charles LaCroix leads us in prayer.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Thanks and praise be to you, God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who has bestowed on us in Christ every spiritual blessing in the heavens. We thank you for the great blessing of being gathered here together tonight for this contest. As always, we ask you to be with us, watch over us, bless us, and those that are dear to us. Keep the players free from injury and harm. Allow them to play to the best of their ability. Reward them for their efforts here tonight. May everything that we think, say, and do give you great honor, glory, and praise. And when the evening is complete, help us to reach our homeward destinations in safety. We pray all this in the name of your Son, Jesus, by the power of your Holy Spirit. You are God forever and ever. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Please remain standing. Remove all headwear and place your hand over your heart as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. Tonight's anthem will be performed by the Shanley High School Chorale under the direction of Patrick McGuire.
Don't go anywhere, folks. High school football action is next after a brief word from our sponsors.
This broadcast is presented by American Family Insurance, Ken Craft Agency, Bell Bank, Beyond Boundaries Therapy Services, Butler Machinery, Ed's Marine, the Fargo Jet Center, First International Bank and Trust, Forum Communications, Haley's Hope, Hurley's Religious Goods, Luther Family Buick GMC, Master Construction, Moore Engineering, Network Center, Northern Improvement, Off the Wall Advertising, Robert Gibb and Sons, Sanford, Shields, Taxman, TCI Insurance, and Wolf Steel Construction.
Welcome back to North Dakota High School football action here on Shanley TV. I'm Jed Thomas, of course, joined by Braden Altringer, as we are just about ready to kick off our second football broadcast of the year, Shanley's third game of the season, and Shanley's homecoming football match. We mentioned that earlier, folks. This is the end of homecoming week for Shanley. Well, the dance tomorrow will be the end, but this is kind of the big event of the week, that football game where a lot of alumni come back. There have been a lot of festivities prior to this game, a lot of excitement building, Braden. Can you feel it?
Yeah, it's a great atmosphere out here for some football.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Braden. The atmosphere is so thick, you're choking on your words, it seems. But no, absolutely. Shanley, coming into this one we mentioned earlier, 2-0. They're looking to pick up that third win. Watford's 0-2, but they've dropped games to some pretty good teams. They lost to Jamestown last week by a pretty wide margin. That's a Jamestown team that we know is very strong. They lost to Shanley by only 1 point in a game that really could have gone any way. You know, Jamestown was in it right up until the end. It's a long drive for Watford, but you know the conditions seem right. Coming in trying to play spoiler, you know, there's nothing quite like beating a team on their home turf, you know, in their homecoming week. That's got to give you some extra motivation, wouldn't you think?
Yes, it definitely does. But that drive up here from Watford City to Shanley is not an easy one. It's going to be tough for them to get going right away.
No, absolutely. It's really tough to, you know, get fresh after such a long bus ride. I think it approaches about 6 hours maybe, something around there, and that's just a really long time to be cooped up on a bus when you got to play a football game later that night. Also doesn't help, it's a 6 o'clock start as they do during homecoming week, so there's another hour lost to kind of get loose. So, you know, conditions there not the best for Watford. In that motivation department, though, another big factor in this game that I foresee playing a large role, Shanley knocked out Watford City last year in the playoffs in what was arguably Watford's best shot at a title in a long time. They featured one of their best senior classes in recent memory, highlighted, of course, by Jaden Ewing, the NDSU commit, the AA Player of the Year. That was a really strong Watford team that lost only by a touchdown, if I remember correctly, here in Cichy Stadium. You got to think, Braden, those underclassmen from last year are coming in hungry. They remember that feeling they had on this field last year.
Yeah, they definitely remember that. That's going to push them to win this ball game, or at least make it a good ball game up right into the end.
Yeah, so the motivation is there. They've got every reason in the world to come out and try and win this one. It will be a tough task, though. Shanley is looking red hot right now. They have been rolling. They escaped in Jamestown with that 1 point win like we talked about, but against Grafton, they looked absolutely fantastic, Braden. They really shut down Grafton in all facets, and they're looking to do the same thing here tonight. Now, let's zero in a bit more, Braden. Who are some of your players to watch for this game? Who do you think we're going to be seeing a lot of?
For Watford City, you got to go with the quarterback, Hunter Schwarzenberger. The returning quarterback, that's huge to have a returning starter. And for Shanley, it's Jackson Lyer, the junior. He has to step up for Haley Buckles, who's out this game, and fill those big shoes on the defensive side.
No doubt about it, Lyer's got some huge shoes to step into. Haley Buckles, the UND football commit, is out in this game. He sustained an injury to the abdomen area against Grafton, took a big hit on the sideline. And that, you know, I think it looked a lot worse, though, thankfully. For those of you who tuned into that Grafton game, it's sounding like he should only be out for a couple of weeks, which is great news for Shanley. You know, like I said, it was a scary-looking injury, but sounds like Buckles should not be out for too long. In the meantime, though, that is going to be a challenge for Shanley. Their offense this season has really been built around the big play. They like to heave the ball deep, go for the big shots, and there's no better vertical weapon in AA than Haley Buckles.
Not at all. Someone's going to have to step up for him and fill that big role.
And, of course, like you said, that could be Jackson Lyer. There's a whole host of receivers for the Deacons who don't have a ton of experience, a lot of new starters, but they've got a lot of potential. Braden DeKaiser, Jackson Lyer, Henry Collins, they've all got different things that they bring to the table. DeKaiser's got good height, good route runner with good hands. Collins is a real speedster, one of the fastest guys on the team. Lyer is just kind of that everyman. He does everything pretty well, and I think we'll see him, especially defensively, is where he'll really step in for Buckles in that corner position. So we'll see what Lyer can do there, what the Shanley team can do to fill the void Buckles has left this week. We're going to see that very soon here as the Deacons are ready to kick this one away. Watford will go on offense first. The strength of Watford City this year so far has been their defense by most accounts. It hasn't necessarily looked that way on the stat sheet. You know, they've had some games where they've given up a lot of points, but that defense has a lot of good pieces left over from last year. It'll be their offense put to the test first, though, as Machenbacher boots this one away, and we're ready to kick things off. And right off the bat, not a great start for Shanley as that kick goes just a little to the left and out of bounds.
Yeah, that's not how you want to start a ball game right there, getting a penalty on the first play, not even the first play from scrimmage, but the kickoff.
Seems like it was probably caught in the wind. That's the direction the wind is blowing, and that's a tough break there for Machenbacher, usually a pretty strong kicker for the Deacons. He's got a good leg. You could see it there. It was a pretty deep kick, but like we said, a little inaccurate, a little bit carried by that wind. Another huge thing to watch here in this game is the battle in the trenches. Watford returns only one starter on their line, while Shanley brings back 4 guys who've all seen playing time throughout the last few seasons on this defensive line. That's going to be something to watch. Watford's going to have to lock things down up front. So we got 3 receivers to the left, 1 out to the right. Schwarzenberger in shotgun. First play of the game for Watford on offense is a handoff, immediately shut down by Jake Pollard. The senior muscles his way in there and brings Higgins down for a big loss.
And Jed, you saw there, the Deacons defensive line coming back where they left off last week, getting that first play, getting that first stop to get them going in this ballgame.
Just absolutely overpowers the man across from him. Pollard, not the biggest man on that line, but he has arguably the highest motor as you see him just slip through there and grab Higgins on the replay. That's going to bring up about 2nd and 15. Looks to be the same formation now for the Wolves. Schwarzenberger drops back to pass, has some time, man open on the near side. Good for a gain of 4 or 5. Not a ton of yardage, but it'll make 3rd down a bit more manageable, as that time Schwarzenberger found Carter Knutson, the tight end.
It'll be 3rd down and 9 for Watford City.
So it'll be 3rd and 9 for the Wolves. They'll say they gained 6 on that last play. We'll see what they've got up their sleeve here. Trips left, flanker right. Shotgun look once again. Here's the snap to Schwarzenberger. Has some time. He's going to run it up the gut. I'm not sure if that was a design draw, but it's not going to work. Manuel was there immediately along with Noah Johnson. They shut that one down before it could get going. And let's look at the replay here, Braden. I'm not sure. I think that's a design draw, and boy, it just does not work. He's got 4 Deacons right in front of him there.
Yeah, the Deacons defense did a really good job of game tackling there.
Those inside linebackers, Johnson and Manuel, are really 2 of the strongest players on this Shanley defense, 2 of their best players. They're both seniors, and they just get tackles like nobody else. They are great at tracking that ball down. You saw it that time. Here's the punt for the Wolves, a high towering kick that will be fair caught at the 40-yard line by Andy Clark. So that's where the Shanley offense will go to work for the first time in this game after the Daly punt. High kick that time for Daly, but not a ton of yardage. Be pretty good field position here for Shanley. And Braden, I'm interested to see what they do. You know, so often they start off these drives with some big shots trying to incorporate Buckles, but with him out, it'll be interesting to see if they lean a bit more heavily on that run game or if they just try and keep rolling. Doubles formation, it's a screen pass out to Clark. He bobbled it, got it back though, and gets a first down. Andy Clark with a little bit of magic that time, almost lost the ball. Instead, it's a first down.
And Jed, with what you said earlier, I don't think they're going to change their play calling just because one person's injured. They have a lot of guys that can step up and fill that role.
Those bubble screen type passes are something they use a lot on offense. You'll probably see a lot of that tonight as we got another doubles look. Here's another screen out to DeKaiser. Braden DeKaiser with space, good for a gain of 6 or 7. Shanley using that hurry-up offense. It's been really effective for him so far this season. The ultimate goal, I think, really is just to tire out these opposing defenses, and boy, they do a good job of that.
They do a heck of a job of it.
Shanley continuing to roll in that same formation. We've seen 2 similar plays here. This time it's a quarterback run up the gut. Kuhneman has some blocks, weaves his way through, and is stopped maybe a yard short. It'll be close. He might have gotten there for the first down.
Kuhneman on the carry for the Deacons.
I think they'll mark him just a bit behind. That'll bring up third down. Third down, though, isn't really third down for Shanley. If they cross the 50, you can pretty much be assured they're going to go for it. They rarely punt. Same formation. Kuhneman with tons of time, and he finds Clark, who makes the grab on the little out route along the sideline.
Jed, that's a great route there. Andy Clark knew where the first down was. He got right and past it, came through and ball, got a catch, got the first down.
And you'll see Clark sub out here after a couple plays where he had to put in some pretty hard work there. He's another one of those guys who will step in for Buckles. He's a senior who's been doing it for a long time. I think the coaching staff has a lot of faith in Clark. He's not a guy who messes up very often. New look formation for Shanley. They try the screen pass again to Kaiser, and it does not work. Gain of 1 or 2 that time. Watford was able to sniff it out.
Yeah, the Wolves read that really well there.
Stop was made by Erickson for the Wolves.
Erickson makes a tackle that time for Watford. And the Deacons are out now on a 2nd and 9. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. Kuhneman rolling out to his left. A lot of space in front of him. Open man and a nice pass put right where it had to be. Hooks up with Henry Collins for the first.
Jed, I believe there's a flag on the play.
I wonder if we might have a hold back there.
I'm guessing so. There's quite a bit of space. You got to think there's something on the line of scrimmage.
And on those rollouts, you get the D-line moving horizontally, and oftentimes those O-linemen get caught, grabbing, trying to keep them from escaping. And it does appear to be a call against Shanley, but I don't think that was a hold, Braden. Did you catch that?
I didn't get quite a good look there, but it definitely was not a hold.
Might have been an illegal formation that time.
It could have been a legal receiver downfield, some sort of illegal.
Yeah, I think that was it. Something procedurally that went wrong there for Shanley. And we have seen a little bit of that from them this season. They run a fairly complex offense. A lot of passing and high passing offenses in high school are sometimes dangerous. Those are hard offenses to run. Shanley does it well, but even they're not immune to some of those issues. As Kuhneman hands off to Busick up the gut, and he's got nowhere to go. Wolves shut it down. The one thing I'm seeing here, Braden, is, Busick gets swallowed up pretty early that time. It's a good stop for Watford, but he had so much space. The line of scrimmage moved, 2 or 3 yards. Those O-linemen get such a good initial push that even those runs that get kind of blown up are still good for a gain of 1 or 2. As we've got a 3rd and 12 situation and a pass out to Hoffer. He tried to spin away from a tackle. It did not work that time. Well played by Schwarzenberger, the quarterback, making a nice stop on defense.
And I think Hoffer's going to be another one of those guys that Shanley goes to on the offensive side.
Yeah, probably outside of Clark, their most experienced receiver with Buckles out. So we got a 4th and 9, and like I said, Shanley does not punt. They don't really kick field goals. They just want touchdowns. 2 receivers right, 1 left. They fake the pitch to Busick. Kuhneman in trouble. It's a screen pass up the middle. Manuel's got it, carrying the pile forward. Austin Manuel, the legs keep churning, and he's got the first down and more.
Yeah, Jed, he just wanted that really badly. He did not stop pumping those legs one bit.
Real nice screen pass that time for Shanley. Well blocked and just well done. And, yeah, like you said, Austin Manuel refusing to go down. That's going to be a fresh set of downs for Shanley. And, some people might look at going for it on 4th and 9 there. Seems like a bit of a bold strategy, which it is. But Shanley converts more often than not.
And that's Shanley style play. They're not going to change what works.
They get yards in big chunks, and they know that if they don't get it on the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd down, chances are they'll probably get it on one of those, and sometimes it just has to be 4th down. Kuhneman looking to his right, and that pass is just a little bit behind, trying to catch. That's Kaiser, I believe, on the slant route.
Yeah, I'm not sure Kaiser is a little screened there by Manuel. They're kind of running crossing routes, so I think his view wasn't too good of the ball there.
Right. 6:52 left to go here in the first quarter. It is 2nd and 10 for the Deacons at the 17 of Watford. 2 receivers right, 1 left. They fake the handoff to Busick. Kuhneman looking to his right. In the end zone, caught by Kaiser for the touchdown. A beauty of a pass and a nice grab by Braden Kaiser opens the scoring.
Yeah, you can see Braden Kaiser turn the shoulders there, put the hands up, got the catch.
Simple as that. Real nice ball from Kuhneman. Great recovery after that slant route that didn't quite go right.
Yeah, that's good to see. Your quarterback bouncing back right away.
He's really good in those corners, too, of the end zones. That's a very hard pass, and for whatever reason, that's just one that Kuhneman does not seem to struggle with.
Yeah, you've seen it a couple times. Not a couple this year, but last year especially, you saw quite a few to begin the season.
Yeah, he's just really good on those corners. And a little confusion here on special teams for the Deacons. As Machenbacher lines up for the kick. and that is no good for Machenbacher, a rare miss for the junior.
Yeah, you don't see that quite often. He'll bounce back, though. I think he'll make the next one, Jed.
Yeah, I'd say that's more likely than not, Braden, as Matt Machenbacher's usually a fairly lights-out kicker, at least on those extra points. Pretty reliable there. Nonetheless, though, it's now 6-0 in favor of Shanley. The Watford defense looked like they might get a stop there. They forced a 4th and long situation. But that was not the case. Shanley's offense continued to roll there. And the thing about that Shanley offense, Braden, is as the game goes on, it gets more and more effective because they just tire you out more and more.
And that's it. It starts with their conditioning. They're well-conditioned, so they're just going to keep pounding it down your throat until you guys get tired.
And, you know, they've got the depth to do that. A really deep team, especially the last 2 years. They've gotten better and better numbers, and they do a great job taking advantage of those numbers, you know, working against teams that might not have the same sort of depth they've got.
Yeah, they got incredible depth from freshmen to sophomores stepping up for those juniors, seniors.
Machenbacher to kick it off. Opening kickoff went out of bounds. No doubt they'll try and correct that error. It takes a turn left, but not nearly as far. Good kick for the junior as it'll be returned now by Daly. Daly looking for daylight up the left side. Nowhere to go. He's brought down at the 15. And so a tough spot, but that's where Watford will go to work here with 6:39 left to go in the first quarter. Manuel makes the special team stop that time. All over the field for the Deacons already, and we're just barely into the game here. So the Wolves come to the line. Not much success on their first outing. We'll see if they can open things up a bit more here. Got 3 receivers out to the left. Higgins joins Schwarzenberger in the backfield. And a fumbled snap. Schwarzenberger never got a hold of it, and the Deacons are on top of it. Big time error for Watford City. And boy, that hurts, Braden. They needed to do something offensively there, and instead they give Shanley excellent field position.
Yeah, you can't have those mistakes against these good football teams.
And get a look at that replay there. I think that's Fredericks, the outside backer, who gets on there. And Shanley didn't even need to do anything to force that one, Braden. Schwarzenberger just never had a hold of the football.
Yeah, I'm not sure, sir. Maybe some sweat, or I don't know if it was just a bad handoff or what the cause of that fumble was.
I think he just got a little bit ahead of himself that time. He was already going to hand it to Higgins before it was even in his hands. And that's unfortunate. Some jitters here cost Watford early as Busick looks to carry up the gut. He is shut down, though. Good penetration that time by the Wolves in the backfield. On the stop that time, it's Ethan Morris.
And Jed, your defense really needs to get that first stop after turn the ball over.
Yeah, it'd be huge for them if they could, you know, hold Shanley to a field goal or keep him off the board entirely. Tall order, but it's possible. 2 receivers right, 1 left. Kuhneman in shotgun. Looking to his right, it's another screen pass. Hoffer caught from behind and brought down hard. Good play on the perimeter that time. Stop made by Cooper. So we've got a 3rd and about 6 yards to go from the goal line. Shanley with the ball on the far hash. Doubles formation. Kuhneman hands it off. No, it's a fake. He's carrying up the middle. He is brought down hard, though. Jarris Cooper got him down. Kuhneman didn't think his knee touched, and that was a heads-up play by Kuhneman. I don't think they ever blew the whistle there.
I don't think they did either. That's good football there to keep going until you hear that whistle.
I mean, he doesn't quite get it in, but it gets him a few extra yards, and yeah, I just kind of assumed he was down, but Kuhneman was listening, and that's what you got to do. You can't just assume you touched. Good play by the senior. So here we go, big 4th and 1. I'd expect the QB sneak. That's what we've got, and that looks clear as day to me. Kuhneman's into the end zone, and that's just that push, Braden. That's just that offensive line for Shanley. They move people, and they do it well.
They do it exceptionally well, and they're already winning the battles in the trenches in this game.
Great work there by the Deacons to take advantage of the Watford City blunder early. Now it'll be interesting to see. It looks like Machenbacher's out there to try the 1. I thought we might see him go for 2 to make up for the missed PAT. A fake certainly is not out of the question here to try and make up that ground as well, but likely just going to try and let Machenbacher regain his confidence here with this kick. Kick is up, and it splits the uprights.
And Jed, I think that's what it was. Coaching wanting to get his confidence back in him.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So 13-0. with 5:05 left to go here in the first quarter, and a fast start for the Deacons, Braden.
Yeah, that's what you want if you're Shanley here. If you're Watford, you didn't really want that, but you can come back and get a quick stop here.
Yeah, they really got to do something on offense here. We just have not seen anything from them. We've seen a couple of decent pass plays. Schwarzenberger has had time. There's been pressure on some downs, but he's had a couple opportunities here. He's had some time to throw. I would hope to see him, try a couple of those dropbacks with Schwarzenberger again, because, again, Shanley's not quite getting that same penetration. They're doing great on offense, but on defense, the Watford line's holding together a bit better.
Yeah, Watford's line on offense is doing exceptionally well, just like the Shanley defensive line.
Right, so we'll see what they've got here. That Shanley defense, though, very fierce. We've seen it so far. Very intimidating. Watford just going to have to calm it down, try to limit those mistakes that have been costing them early. Want to give a shout out to Peter Simon, who's tuning into the game, an alumni in the spirit of homecoming week. Great to have alumni watching. Folks, if you're watching, do get in contact with us. You can find us on social media. As Machenbacher kicks us one away, hit us up on Twitter or Facebook. We'll try to give you a shout out. Daly returning it up the near sideline, and he gets popped. Brought down hard. I think that was Sam Dietz there on the initial stop. A couple guys in on that tackle. And Daly is a little too slow on these returns, Braden. I think he's looking for the perfect seam there, and he just needs to get some positive yards.
Yeah, he can't wait and make another play. He's got to hit that hole hard right away.
Looking for the perfect opening there, and it just hasn't been there. He's just got to try and get some decent yardage, set their offense up in better position, as they're going to start right now at about the 16. So, trips left flanker right for Watford. Schwarzenberger in shotgun, and he loses it again. He's just going to have to fall on it. And Braden, I'm really starting to wonder what's going on back there. You might be right. It could be a sweat issue.
Jed, I think that was also a little bad snap, but I was thinking maybe some nerves, too, after getting that first fumble. That one could have been just a little nerves.
Yeah, and you're right. It was not the best snap. It was high. He had to reach for it, and that's not what you want, obviously. But, yeah, that just seemed to bounce right out of his hands, and so it's probably a combination of the things we've talked about here, but they need to get that under control. I mean, that was a loss of 11 yards to start off. 2 receivers out left, 1 out right. Higgins in the backfield alongside Schwarzenberger. Schwarzenberger will carry. Design QB run up the near side. Goes nowhere. Shut down by this Deacon defense.
Again, we see that great push by the Shanley defensive line.
And the linebacking core is there once again, led by Austin Manuel. Like you said, though, Joe Cav is in there as well with that D-line. Defensive backs for the Deacons have not really been tested so far. There haven't been too many shots downfield here for Watford. With a 3rd and 21, I am guessing I don't think we're going to see much of a shot here. I think they're going to try and run to get a little breathing room for the punt.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see like a screen option here.
Maybe some sort of draw play to just gain a few yards. No, they're going to go for it. Or no, it's a screen like you said, but it's not going to work. And Matthew Machenbacher absolutely blows that play up as Higgins gets up slow.
Yeah, he couldn't have read that play any better.
Higgins took an absolute shot there, and you can see him holding his lower back. That's right where Machenbacher hit him.
Jed, I'm not sure if you saw that, but the ref was running off the field to, looks like, talk to the Shanley's athletic director.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that was about, Braden. And it doesn't appear to be anything major as we don't have a stoppage in play, but yeah, I'm not sure what that was. See if we can figure that out maybe later. And Clark is standing back at about the 35. Unless they can get a heck of a punt here from Daly, it's looking like Watford's going to give Shanley some pretty good field position. Daly is able to get a hold of this one. It's going to fall back. Clark signals for the fair catch, and that's down at about the 37 or 38, and that's about as much as you can ask from a high school punter, Braden, I'd say.
Yeah, from his position in the end zone, just get the ball up, you get your flankers down there and get another stop on defense. That's where it's at right now.
Biggest thing was with some strong wind there, you don't want it to get pushed out at like the 15 or 20 while it's still in the air and give them really good field position. So this is a better situation for Watford than it could have been. Still not great, though, as Shanley starts in Wolf territory. The Deacons have not been stopped yet on offense. They got a new running back in. It's Fredericks. We'll see him there with Busick and Manuel. Those 3 share reps. It's a rollout to Kuhneman's right, firing downfield. Too strong for DeKaiser. Pressure was there, too, as Kuhneman took a hit that time from Caleb Goff. That'll make it 2nd and 10. And Braden, you know, obviously Shanley's offenses look great. They haven't been stopped yet, like I said. But the Watford defense has really shown flashes. Twice now we've seen them force the Deacons into a 4th down. They haven't been able to make the stops on 4th down, but they've still been getting them there.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. You know, that first touchdown was a great throw by Kuhneman.
Right.
And that second touchdown, it was just not that good of a turnover by their offense.
Exactly. It was poor field position there for Watford, as Fredericks will carry with a big hole, and Watford's not wrapping him up, and you got to do that because Cole Fredericks will burn you every time. Fredericks with the big-time run, and that'll make it 19-0.
Yeah, you can't give him any space. If he is just a little, he's going to be off to the races.
Well, the big thing here, Braden, is they just got to wrap him up. I mean, he's got a good gain here, but then Daly can't grab him, and that time, let's see, who was that? That was Kyle Foster, who just came in too high on Fredericks.
You know, and looking back at that, the Wolves had really good position to make the tackle there. They just couldn't do it.
They had a couple guys there, and they tackled at the shoulder pads, not the legs, and you just can't be doing that. Part of that, though, has got to be the experience here for Watford City. They graduated 14 seniors off last year's team. We're looking at a lot of guys who are getting their first major reps. Kick from Machenbacher is up and good to make it 20-0 in favor of Shanley, and we still have 2.5 minutes here to go in this first quarter. Braden, if you're Watford, what are you looking for here on this possession in a tough spot already?
You're looking for first downs. I don't know if they've got one first down maybe, but they got to get their first down for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. See if they can maybe get the running game going. There's been nothing there so far for them. And not much from the passing game either. It seems they've had a little more success there, but yeah, certainly I think a first down is a good goal, a realistic goal. We'll see if they can get one of those here on this next possession.
Assistant coach Stephen Weber and his wife Jessica, they welcome the new baby girl on Wednesday, Julia.
And Jed, one thing I noticed is on the sideline, Haley Buckles is not in the field to be that leader on the field, but he's being the leader on the sideline.
Yeah, Buckles is one of the captains. That's really no surprise to see him down there talking with the guys, you know, getting guys amped up, getting them prepared for what they have to do, making sure they've got their assignments figured out, just kind of acting like another coach down there. And like I said, not surprising at all from Buckles, the senior. So Machenbacher lining up for this kickoff. A little bit of a shorter one this time. Daly will let it bounce. I think there was a miscommunication there between the return men for Watford, as Daly will make it out to maybe the 16-yard line. And so that's where Watford will get possession here to start off.
10 beats on the cover for the Deacons. It'll be first down and 10 for the Wolves at their 18-yard line.
Wolf offense taking the field once again here. Again, I think, like you said, a first down would be a realistic, a solid goal here for Watford to have. They haven't really found, there hasn't been really that one player, that one formation that's quite worked for them here. Maybe they just got to keep experimenting on this drive, see if they can find a play that's working well for them, because so far there hasn't been much. It's a handoff to Higgins, and Pollard is back there once again. He gets there initially, couldn't make the tackle, but he held Higgins up long enough. Cava came away with the ball. The runner was down before he got it, though. And man, Braden, Jake Pollard is just wreaking havoc on this Watford run game.
Yeah, last year he was known for his offensive line duties, but this year his defensive line skills are incredible.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Last year he was exclusively an offensive lineman. This year getting his first real reps on defensive line, and he looks like an absolute natural.
He does look like a natural. It's really good to see for the Shanley Deacons.
1:45 and counting left to go in the first quarter. 3 receivers left. Schwarzenberger loses it once again. He falls down just in front of the goal line. Almost a safety, almost a turnover. But he's able to keep it out of the end zone and is down at the 1. And so that is going to make it 3rd down and very long. That is 3rd and 26, Braden.
Yeah, you got to get a play here to get at least 10 to 15 yards back to get a punt off.
Yeah, I mean, they just got to get something. Any positive yards here would be great for Watford. So 3 receivers left, 1 right. Schwarzenberger looking downfield, and he's way long on that one. So nothing there for Watford City. 3 and out, and not a great 3 and out either, as they lose yards on all but that third down.
It really wasn't, but I like that last play there by the Wolves. I like how they attacked Jackson. He's fresh, first varsity start. You might have some nerves, a little jitters, but you don't know.
Yeah, certainly. I think that's a good idea by Watford. I like that they're taking shots here, obviously in a pretty big hole. Got to start doing something to try and get a spark. And yeah, that's a good idea to attack Liar. Perhaps we'll see that again when they're in a bit better position, as obviously that 3rd and 26 is not your ideal spot to start testing the junior D-back, as now Clark will fair catch the ball at the 30-yard line. And so again, Shanley with unbelievable field position. They've started all but one of their drives in Watford territory and fairly deep in Watford territory.
Yeah, if you're Watford here, you just got to try to switch the fields here, get a stop, get the offensive going a little bit.
So the Shanley offense is back out there, and Kuhneman on the sidelines right now, Busick in at quarterback. And really no reason for Kuhneman to be pulled play-wise here. They do have a bit of a rotation at quarterback between the two seniors, so I think they're just getting Busick some reps here. As he's got a huge hole running from the quarterback position, it takes him just one play to get into the end zone. And that's what Cade Busick brings to the table. You saw the arm of Kuhneman. Well, there are the legs of Busick.
Yeah, for Shanley to have two quarterbacks with two different play styles, it's great for high school football.
And look at the hole here, too. Joe Cava pulling, and it didn't even really matter because the whole Watford defense thought that was a handoff. No one saw the fake there, as Busick was the one carrying the ball. And, yeah, I mean, that just goes to show the kind of options Shanley has at that quarterback position. Took him 2 plays to score last time. Took him 1 play to score this time. That Shanley offense keeps getting more and more efficient. And that kick is up and through the uprights from Machenbacher. And that's good to see from Matt Machenbacher. He started off struggling, put a kickoff out of bounds, missed a PAT. Since then, though, he's been perfect on everything.
Yeah, that's how you bounce back as a football player there.
3 for 3 on PATs since the initial miss, and all the kickoffs have looked good. So Watford in a heck of a spot here, Braden, down 27-0 in the first quarter.
Yeah, they're in a really tough spot here. It's all about that first down. I still believe they need to get that first down to get their offensive going. Oh,
no doubt about it. I mean, that's at least where you got to start. Honestly, if I'm Watford here, maybe the big thing on this possession is just to get some positive yards. You know, the last couple possessions, all they've really done is lose yards or turn it over. And if they could, even if they have to punt the ball away, if they're punting in a 4th and 5 or a 4th and 3 or something, I'd say that's a win compared to what they've been doing.
That's definitely a win there compared to their last couple of drives.
I'd like to see him take some more shots with Schwarzenberger as well, as he does have a pretty talented arm and he's a fairly experienced quarterback. That passing game seems to be their best option. Low kick from Machenbacher. This one is deep, though, and Daly muffs it, rolling back into the end zone. He's going to have to bring it out, and he's caught at the 2-yard line, I believe. And that's not the way you want to start.
Not at all. That's a tough start to the drive.
And Daly that time, probably you can see him, he's frustrated. He knows that it probably would have been better to let it go. And that's just tough, That's a play you want back, but just going to have to move on from it, get back on offense.
And that's tough to decide about the 5-yard line, if it's going to be a touchback or if you want to return the ball.
So that passing game might not be as much of an option here, as Watford is starting from their own 5. Daly was able to get a few more yards than we initially thought. So 2 receivers left, 1 right. Higgins and Schwarzenberger back there. The ball went through the hands of Schwarzenberger and into the arms of Higgins, the running back. And not a design play, but it was some positive yards, or at least not a loss.
Yeah, it turned out really well compared to what it could have been.
Yeah, that could have been a lot worse if you're Watford. So that will make it 2nd and 9. They got a yard out of that. I'm really not sure what the deal is with Schwarzenberger and that ball.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's sweat, nerves. It could be a mixture of things here.
Right, I'm guessing that's it. He might need some gloves, though. That could be a big part of it. He's going bare hand right now, as the horn will sound to end the first quarter. And after 1 quarter of play, Braden, 27-0. The Deacons have been in total control so far.
Yeah, if you're the Deacons, that's how you want to start the ball game. Leaving off where they left off last week, it's good football.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much more you can say. They are just playing great ball right now. Watford has certainly given them good opportunities as well. Some mistakes for the Wolves have given Shanley really good opportunities, and they've capitalized. The big story for Shanley, I think, so far has been their efficiency, Braden. Obviously, they've been in good situations, but they've capitalized quickly, and they have limited their mistakes.
Yes. Normally in the first quarter, you look to get a touchdown, maybe 2, but they already have 4 touchdowns. And if you can put 4 touchdowns up on the board in the first quarter, you're going to be just fine.
Absolutely, and I think already we've seen, normally at this stage, I think that no-huddle offense would start to be tiring out the opponent, but honestly, Braden, these possessions have gone so quick, I think Watford is still a little stunned from everything that transpired coming out of the gate. I don't even know if they've had time to kind of get winded, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's been really quick possessions. It's almost the Shanley offense is just deteriorating their defensive line right now.
So, getting ready to start the second quarter here. It is Watford ball from their own 6-yard line, looking at a 2nd and 9 situation. Braden, one good thing that I think Watford could try, maybe we could see some rollouts here from Schwarzenberger, see if he can, see if they can buy him a little more time there, maybe open the field up a bit more. Oftentimes, when you got a quarterback who's in a bit of duress back there, it's good to roll him out so he's got a little more space. Yeah,
I think they should try that, maybe to the right side where Jackson is, because I still think they need to, I believe that they need to attack him a little bit.
Absolutely, Braden. And so now we've got 2 receivers left, 1 right for Schwarzenberger. Here's the snap, corrals it, bobbled it initially though, and now he's going to take off to run, but he won't get far. Joe Cava's got him for the safety. Make that 29-0 after the safety for Cava. And not at all what you needed there, Braden, if you're Watford.
No, again, you saw a little bobbled snap. I think he really needs to figure that out for the next drive.
Yeah, and that time, by the time he got the ball settled down, the Shanley defense was right in his face. He had nowhere to go. Didn't want to heave it up because I don't think he could really see what was in front of him. Didn't want to throw the interception, although obviously this turns out a little worse than that, as it's now 2 points and the ball going to the Deacons, as Watford will have to punt it to them. Or I suppose they can elect a kick here, I believe. So, nonetheless, you're turning the ball over again, and that's just not what you need. We talked about Schwarzenberger, having a little more time on those passing plays. We thought they were working a little better than the run plays, but that does not appear to be the case anymore. Shanley's really starting to break through in all areas now.
Yeah, I'm curious if their offensive line is just getting tired, because I'm guessing most of them play both sides of the ball, so you got to think that might have something to do with it.
Certainly, and again, they only bring back 1 starter from last year, and so that's really only one guy who knows what it's like to play, a full game, to be playing both sides, and kind of to be as physically taxed as this line is right now. And Braden, maybe it's time to start putting Schwarzenberger under center. I wouldn't say that's easier than working out shotgun. In fact, usually shotgun's a little easier for a quarterback. But in terms of the bobbling issues, I think you got to try something different. Maybe they need to just limit the amount of space between quarterback and center and just get him right in there to get those balls.
It could be that, but I really do agree with you that they might just need to go under center for a couple of plays here.
And now I think that might have been an onside try. I think they elected to kick off from further back because you've got that option after a safety, and that looked like an onside attempt for Watford, which does not work out. Well fielded by the Shanley Hands team.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was an onside or just a little pooch to see if the Deacons would muff the ball there.
Right, and obviously not the case, as Johnny on the spot that time for Shanley was Carson Dean right there to scoop it up, and he didn't bobble out for a second, which was well done considering you're probably not expecting that as if you're Dean. I like the idea, though, from Watford, try and force Shanley to make a mistake. They really haven't made one as of yet. As now we've got 3 receivers right, 1 left. Kuhneman's back in there for Shanley. He gives the ball to Fredericks, though. Cole Fredericks with tons of room and a big gain, but we've got 2 flags down. I think we've got a hold against Shanley, but we might have something against Watford, too. Maybe a little extracurricular there, as it looked like we had some late hitting going on between the 2 lines.
Holding versus the Deacons.
And it looks like they're just going to call holding on the Deacons there.
Yeah, I think that's the right call. I think they both threw flags for the hold. The second flag was just a little later. There was a little bit going on after the play, but I didn't think it was flag worthy. So that makes sense.
I agree with you there.
Yeah. That's a good break for Watford, though. That's definitely what you need. As now it's 1st and 18 it reads on the scoreboard. I think it's 15 actually. Or excuse me, it should be 20, as now Kuhneman will complete that one to Braden DeKaiser. Braden DeKaiser with a lot of space there. Kuhneman puts it low, and DeKaiser makes the adjustment.
Not only did DeKaiser have a lot of space there, Kane had quite a bit of time in the pocket.
Yeah, he's getting really good time so far. Very clean pocket, and he's played well. You know, the last 2 games, he threw an interception on the opening drive, both those games, and we have not seen anything close to a pick so far in this one.
No, he's put a lot of work into practice after those 2 picks, and it's paying off right now.
Yeah, definitely. Not that time, as I may have just jinxed Kuhneman, as I tend to do on these games. But, no, yeah, he's played a real good game. Obviously, Busick came in for one play and did about as well as you can.
Yeah, he did, but it seems he's got his pads off and ice on his shoulder. I don't know if he did something there.
Oh, you are right, Braden, on the sideline. I think that is Busick with ice on the shoulder, as now we got a handoff to Kochman, who's caught behind the line, and he just couldn't stay on his feet that time. Nice penetration for Watford City. Coming through the line, it was Jacob Goff. And that's interesting. That does explain why we've seen so much more of Fredericks here, Braden, as usually Busick would be the lead back. And Busick, though, he's standing there with his, with his pants still on, his football pants, and he doesn't look too alarmed. I'm guessing it's just something minor that they've got ice on. As Hoffer tried to make the one-hander, ball just a little bit in front of him that time. But now we've got a 4th and 8 situation. And I think, is Shanley out there to punt right now?
No, that was 4th down, and they turned the ball over. So
I'm sorry, yeah. You were right.
Yep, Watford's got pretty good field position to start this drive out.
Well, there's that Watford defense stepping up there. My apologies. I was busy looking at Busick there on the sideline. But, yeah, so that was 4th down for Shanley as the defense will go back out there. And that's a pretty big stop, Braden, for Watford. That's a huge stop.
Yeah, you really got to get your team going, and that's just the way to do it.
I mean, that was the first time they've stopped that Shanley offense. They look pretty good doing it, too. Shanley tried a couple passes. Obviously, they got backed up by the hold, but they couldn't get out of that hole like they had been doing throughout the rest of this game. And, wow, Schwarzenberger is met immediately. Shanley brought the heat, and that blitz made it into the backfield right away.
Yeah, Cole Fredericks got a good read there, got through the hole, and made the tackle.
Fredericks creeping up there from that linebacker position, and you saw Johnson and a few other guys come in and clean it up. So the Watford offense back out there. Schwarzenberger almost got back to the line. It's a 2nd and 10, maybe 11 here. 3 men out to the right, 1 out to the left. Schwarzenberger drops back with some time, and it's picked by Manuel. Jumps in front of Daly to make the interception and get the ball back for the Deacons.
Great.
Oh, go ahead.
That was a great read by Manuel there. Sat right there in front of the receiver, and it almost looked like he was the receiver there because he threw it right to him.
Right. I was going to say, let's look on the replay here. I'm not sure if he was going to Daly or if he was looking past him that time. I do think he was going to Daly, but he actually had Damaris open just a little past Daly, and so if he could have gotten the ball over to Damaris, I think he could have gotten some good yards out of it.
Yeah, and I'm not so sure there's a mix-up of routes there. There's 2 guys in the same vicinity, and that's not that normal.
Yeah, Watford looked a little disoriented on that play. And anyway, here's the Shanley offense back out there as Kuhneman hands that one off, and it is shut down right away. On the carry that time, I think we had Kochman again, but we've got a Watford player down now. And we'll have a timeout as the trainer will head out there, and someone appears to be shaken up for the Wolves. I think under that pile, someone might have gotten something, not sure, if someone was twisted up there, or a lot can happen when you've got those big piles in the middle of the field.
Yeah, typically if it's down in the trenches, it's a clipped knee, clipped ankle, something in that kind of vicinity.
Right. Hopefully nothing too major, as we've got 9:29 left to go here in the 2nd quarter. And Braden, that was a huge stop for that Watford defense a couple plays ago, able to get the ball back, force a turnover on downs from the Deacons. But to give it back there with the interception, that is tough for the Wolves.
Yeah, it is really tough for the Wolves to get your defense right back on the field and not give them that much time to get a quick breather.
And now, thankfully, it does look like they've got the injured man off the field. Shaken up on the play that time, it was Jacob Goff, and he had been rushing well for them. Hopefully Goff will be back out there soon. Hopefully nothing too major, as he's definitely been one of their better players defensively, at least. 2nd and 8 for the Deacons. The run didn't do too much for him. Screen pass, though, over to Hoffer with tons of space, and he takes a hit. He got tracked down from behind. Coming in hot that time was Darian Dunn, but Hoffer not phased at all. He sprung right back up and got the first down.
And yeah, you got to give some credit there to Kochman and DeKaiser out there blocking.
Yeah, real good blocks in front of Hoffer that time on the screen. Like you said, Kochman and DeKaiser did a great job picking up their men. Kuhneman fakes the handoff, carrying it himself. Makes a great move, making some good cuts. Here's Kuhneman showing off his legs before he's brought down after gaining the first.
Yeah, normally you see Busick out there making those moves, but Kuhneman, that's good to see.
Yeah, that's really good from Kuhneman, showing off his ability to run, especially with Busick a little shaken up here. Kuhneman showing that when they need him to run, he certainly can. We saw that against Grafton as well. He's got really good legs, I think better than he's given credit for sometimes, which is understandable given that he's, competing with one of the better running quarterbacks in the division in Busick. As now he's going to roll out, going to try to pick this one up with his legs, and he goes down hard. Took a shot that time. And that's the second play in a row he gets hit pretty hard. It was Cooper coming in, but again, Kuhneman springs right back up. That was good for a gain of a couple. And we want to give a shout-out to another Shanley alumni, a more recent one in Joe Keller. Joe Keller, of course, a big Shanley sports fan, graduated last year. And so, Joe, thank you for tuning in. Glad to have you watching. Anyone else watching at home or anywhere, really, be sure to get in contact with us on Twitter or Facebook, and we'll try to give you a shout-out. Now we got a timeout taken, and I think that was Watford who took it, Braden. Probably here backed up against their own end zone, looking to get a breather and try and get their defense set.
Yeah, I think they mainly took it just to get a quick breather, but I think it works out better for Shanley. They can talk in the huddle about what they want to do on this next play.
Yeah, and I mean, this is often a situation where Mattern will take a timeout. He likes to burn them when he's in the red zone because he really likes to get the right play call in there. And especially now that they're running this hurry up, this is a type of offense where you might want to have 2 or 3 plays in a row set so that your guys don't even have to look back at the sideline. They just know what they're running, and that can be really tough for a defense to cope with.
And I'm guessing that's exactly what they did there because the defense is going to be unorganized, and that's the best time to attack.
8:18 left in the second. Whistle gets the ball set. Here's Kuhneman in shotgun, looking to his left, pitches it out to Fredericks with loads of space, and he's in for the easy score. That makes it 35-0 in favor of Shanley, and we still have 8:12 left to go in the second. Dominant performance here, Braden.
Yeah, Shanley's looking really good, and if you're Shanley here, you might even try to get 2 more touchdowns so in the second half none of your starters have to play and risk that injury level.
Yeah, for sure. Certainly Shanley going to try to punch a few more in here before the end of this second quarter. As Machenbacher on the kick. It's close, but it's in. And so, Braden, what do you see now from this Watford offense in a whole here? Really, haven't been able to do too much so far coming off of that interception. How do you think they try and battle back?
First off, I think someone on the Wolves sideline needs to get them going. They all look a little down because they're down 35-0, but I think they'll be just fine if they can get a quick score here and maybe another one to end the half.
For sure, I think that starts with the passing game. And speaking of that Morrell, Braden, one guy who I've seen really getting fired up out there, Jarris Cooper, the sophomore. Not only has he been making plays, but he has had a lot of energy, and he has not lost it from the time they kicked off. From the time it was 0-0 to even now, down 36-0, Cooper has not lost a bit of energy, and he's been a pretty fun player to watch.
And that's good to see from the underclassmen. Normally they're a little timid, but he's really ready to go.
Yeah, Cooper certainly looks ready out there. And that's a type of behavior that a coach no doubt will reward. If you're out there with that kind of attitude, even if you're not the most talented player, which Cooper is a pretty talented player, so he doesn't have to worry about that, but that's the kind of behavior that a coach wants out on the field. They want that type of mentality out there. Machenbacher lining up on the kickoff. And he sends this one away, a little low-line drive. Wolves let it bounce. It's muffed at the 2 or 3, and now carried forward. There's a seam up the right side, and brought down at the 15 that time was Zhang.
And Jed, on that kickoff there, you could already see Shanley subbing in some of those underclassmen.
Yeah, Shanley bringing in a couple rotational players here now as Watford comes back out. And Braden, if I'm Watford, I think they got a few options here. We talked about going under center, seeing if they can change things up there. The other thing we haven't seen, the running game hasn't worked great for them, but they've been trying to run everything out of shotgun. I know they don't do a lot of under center with the I formation type of stuff, but that's one thing that Shanley doesn't defend great against, that kind of ground and pound football they have trouble with. And maybe if we saw some of that, and here's a nice run for Watford to start things off. Kyle Foster with a nice carry.
That was a great hole there by the Watford offensive line. They might have got a little fire in their system now to get them going. Yeah,
that was really well blocked. Well, good execution there. Everybody just seemed to find their assignment. So 7:45 and counting left to go in the second quarter. Doubles formation look for Watford City. 2nd and 2 now. Schwarzenberger rolling out to his right. It's a cute quarterback run up the right side, and Schwarzenberger running hard there. He refused to go down.
Yeah, Jed, I know it's only been 2 plays, but who knows? This could spark a couple more plays, and they could be in field goal range to touchdown range.
Well, and there's an elusive first down that, we talked a lot about getting those for Watford City. That's a big one to pick up, especially, again, coming off of that turnover. This is pretty big for them, as now they've got another man down, though. And I think that might be Schwarzenberger.
That's not good to see if you're Wolves. You do not want your starting quarterback hurt.
No, certainly not. And I'm not certain, though. I do think it's him. I can't get the number, but the player is laying about where Schwarzenberger went down. And, yeah, I think I see 5 on that shoulder pad now.
Yep, that would be Schwarzenberger.
And so, yeah, that would be tough. He's getting up quick here. They will have to send someone else out, though, for this next play, as he's going to at least need to be evaluated a little bit. I'm not sure what what the issue is for him, but hopefully it's nothing major, as he's just kind of stretching out over there, hopefully a cramp or something.
Yeah, you got to think with him stretching like that, it's just a little strain cramp, something that he can come back from in a couple of plays.
In the meantime, though, Watford's going to try and continue this energy that they've got. Clock is running as they get the play call in now. And let's see who we have at quarterback for Watford City. They haven't really had to use a backup this season, and it appears to be Canyon Cheddar, the freshman, in at QB. And he'll hand it off, a bobbled handoff to Foster, and Foster went down hard there. Johnson and Cava came streaking in there for Shanley. And especially now with their quarterback out here, with Schwarzenberger down again, Braden, well, he'll check back in now, so that's a good sign for Watford. But I'd still like to see something out of that, like I formation, a more traditional look, because again, that's just something Shanley really struggles with, that physical football, that hard-nosed running football. That's something that they struggle to defend sometimes.
Yeah, it is, and I think if Watford attacks it well, they could put a few good drives together.
Daly was the man in motion there, coming across a sort of jet sweep type of play. Doesn't find the seam, though. Third and long now for Watford City. They had good momentum to start off this drive, but then Schwarzenberger went down, and it seemed to really deflate them. He is back on the field, but that little interruption in the series seemed to take some of the life out of him. Third down and about 15 here for the Wolves. 3 men out to the right, 1 to the left. Schwarzenberger firing over the middle, and that time trying to make the interception was Kochman, but it fell just in front of him. Schwarzenberger did have a man there streaking across the middle, but I think it was a little underthrown that time.
He sure did have that mad wide open, but again, I see more time for him in the pocket there.
Yeah, he had a little more time, and yeah, that was a little closer than I think it looked initially. You can see he's just a little bit in front of the intended receiver, and I think that was Jacob Schwarzenberger, actually, who he was trying to connect with.
And it looked like that ball came out a little wobbly, so I don't know if he got the best grip on that ball.
Yeah, again, he really seems to be having trouble getting the grips on the ball here with those bobbled snaps and stuff like that. Still, though, I'd say that's a promising drive for Watford, as they'll want to grab this ball. It's not taking a Wolf bounce. Took a bounce back for him, unfortunately. Daly's punting, though, has been pretty good, especially when you consider a lot of the tough spots he's been punting out of.
Yeah, especially he's been a couple times deep in the end zone going against the wind, and he's significantly switching the field compared to what it could be.
Yeah, he's been backed way up a couple of times. And again, that punting has been quite good for him that time. He just didn't get a good bounce. So 5:29 left to go here in this first half. 36-0 lead for the Deacons. Kuhneman in at quarterback, hands off to Fredericks up the middle. Fredericks is wrapped up, but not brought down. He is then finally brought down, and there's a flag there. I think I saw a face mask in there.
Yep, and again on that play, you see Cooper, just like you said earlier, he's again in on that tackle.
Yeah, Cooper came flying in there for Watford. And Fredericks wasn't brought down initially. It was a good job by Jacob Goff to get in there and slow him up, but it took a couple more men to bring Fredericks down. And I'm thinking we'll get a face mask call here. Yeah, that is the case. Kind of a weird play to get a face mask on. You know, usually a guy gets yanked down. That time, I think someone's hand more kind of just caught the cage and ripped at it, which is obviously still a penalty, but just kind of an inadvertent one, an unfortunate one for Watford.
Yeah, those kind of penalties are just unlucky. You already had the tackle. You just got the hand up there.
Right. Nonetheless, though, it makes it 1st and 2 now for the Deacons as Kuhneman throws it out to Clark. Clark with a seam, and he's brought down after picking up that first down and a lot more. That's good for a gain of about 8 or 9.
And those bubbles plays, that's Shanley's go-to play for throwing the ball.
Yeah, they really like to lean on that one. They like to use it to kind of set up some deeper shots. They'll go bubble, bubble, maybe a run, and then they like to air one out. And we'll see if that's what they do here. With a doubles look and Fredericks the lone back. Kuhneman under center. It's another screen pass over to DeKaiser. This one doesn't quite go as far. Still, though, will gain about 3 or 4.
I think that time the Wolves just caught on to what Shanley was doing.
Yeah, that is one thing Watford's been doing exceptionally well. They've done a great job not getting fooled twice by the same plays. They certainly seem to be in the right spot at the right time. And sometimes it's really just been Shanley's, you know, they've been there, but Shanley's just done a good job blocking them. Still, though, good job by Watford to adapt. As Kuhneman's rolling out, he doesn't see much in front of him, and he's going to be brought down for the sack. Kuhneman was trying to wait for something to open up, and it just never did as he was brought down by Ethan Morris.
The Wolves secondary did a great job covering Shanley's wide receivers there.
Yeah, the D-backs for the Wolves there did a very nice job. And one thing that they've done a real good job of, Braden, is they've been covering the deep ball very well. Shanley's had a good passing game, but they've had to stick to the short and mid-range balls, which really isn't what they've been doing primarily this season. Pitch over here to Fredericks with a seam. Fredericks taken off. Will he be caught from behind? No, he will not. Cole Fredericks gets another Deacon touchdown, but we have a flag back behind the play.
And I'm not so sure if it's unsportsmanlike conduct on both teams, so it's going to offset and come back.
Yeah, there seems to be a little jarring between some Shanley and Watford players out there.
Yeah, I believe that was Johnson from Shanley and Morris from Watford City that maybe we're getting into it a little bit.
Yeah, they've been going head-to-head on a lot of plays. Let's see. Not sure if we got to look at that again. Probably not because it was happening behind the play. And, yeah, I'm guessing it's going to be the offsetting unsportsmanlikes here as there's a little conference going on between the referees. Kuhneman out there as a representative for Shanley, I think, trying to hear the explanation. And now Johnson will sub off for Shanley.
Yeah, but it looks like he's getting a little talking to by the coaching staff there.
Just probably having him cool down and just making sure he's got his head on straight, hoping it, just making sure it won't happen again. But so it's offsetting penalties like you predicted, Braden, and so Shanley will kick for the PAT now. Great run there for Fredericks to get the touchdown, though, which was, overshadowed a bit there, but shouldn't be as it was a really nice run.
Yeah, again, for the second time, you just can't give him much space. If he finds that, he's going to hit it hard and run till you stop him.
Right, and Fredericks isn't a huge running back. Manuel is more of a power back along with Busick. But Fredericks, when he's got the kind of blocking in front of him that offensive line is giving, when they can give him, as long as he's got enough space, it's so hard to bring him down because he's usually one of, if not the fastest guy out on the field.
Yeah, it's almost impossible. I don't know if it's that, but it's definitely borderline impossible to bring him down if he has open space.
Right. I mean, he's just that acceleration. We've seen it a couple times now. It's really when he gets into the second level. You've got to bring him down at the D-line or with the linebackers. If you don't, he's usually gone. And we want to give another shout out here to Bill Moffat. I hope I'm saying that right, Bill, watching the game from England. And he wants to give a shout out to Jeff Manuel, Austin Manuel's dad. So, Bill, thanks for tuning in. And, of course, we'll give a shout out to Jeff Manuel, the father of Austin Manuel, a player we've talked a lot about here. Pretty cool to see someone tuning in from England. So, thanks for getting in touch with us, Bill. And again, feel free to reach out. We'll try to give you a shout out. Again, that's Twitter or Facebook. You can find us at Shanley TV, as Machenbacher converted the PAT there to make it 43-0. And Shanley, of course, Machenbacher missed the one earlier, but that was evened out and then some with the safety that gave him 2 points. So that's what's got us at 43 instead of 42 or 41 there. And now Watford's going to get the ball back. And Braden, what would be great for Watford here is if they could get a possession that ran the clock out or almost. Even if you don't get in the end zone, if they could just eat up some clock, because that's been a huge thing. On those offensive possessions, they have not been out there very long at all.
I think exactly that's where it starts. You've got to have a lengthy possession to get your defense some rest, but not only get some confidence back in your offense.
If they could establish the run game here, that'd be huge. Burn up that clock, get some good chunks. Those 3 or 4 yard chunks would be great. And we saw the running capability of Schwarzenberger on the last drive. We're seeing more and more facets of this offense come out as Daly is returning now. Almost lost it. Hey, here's a hole for Daly. Machenbacher, the kicker, had to bring him down. If he could have made a move past Machenbacher, though, he might have been gone, as we've got a player a little shaken up there. Appears to be running it off, though, that time. Looked like Simon was just a little roughed up, but he looks good now. And you know, Braden, usually when the kicker has to bring down the return man, you're worried as the kicking team. But that's not the case when your kicker is a 200-pound linebacker, in which case that's about the best guy you can have bringing down the returner.
Yeah, you can't ask for much more to be your kicker, your starting linebacker.
And so the Watford offense back out there with 3:52 to go. They trail 43-0. Doubles formation. Schwarzenberger hands off to Foster. Foster makes a cut, and he'll cut right into the arms of Joe Cava that time. Good initial block on Cava by Dunn, but Cava did a good job releasing and finding the back.
Yeah, he's another great player to watch for Shanley. He's a junior now, so he's part of that upperclassman that they're going to be just fine.
Yeah, and he's a guy who's been starting since his freshman year, so you know he's a junior, but he's just got unbelievable experience for a junior. Not many guys have been starting now. Not many juniors are in their third year starting in high school football. As Schwarzenberger rolls out, has some time, fires one downfield, looking for Daly, a little hot and high. Plus Hoffer was coming in there. Right idea though from Schwarzenberger.
Yeah, I really like that play call to get him out and rolling out of the pocket.
3:14 left to go. Negative there. Obviously, it's incomplete, but the other negative is it does stop the clock. And, you know, we talked about trying to run the clock out here, not allow Shanley to get back on offense. They're going to have to pick up the first down if they want to keep that in play. So, on third down, Schwarzenberger on the screen pass. And it won't work that time. Could not quite get the ball up to the intended target. Obviously a screen, so you're going to have members of that defense in the quarterback's face. That time, though, Shanley really got their guys back there.
Yeah, it looked like Rosberg got a tip on the ball there.
Yeah,
we'll see here on the replay.
I think that is what ended up. Yeah, that's a good catch. Rosberg, I think, does get a hand on that ball. And that's good work there by Rosberg, one of their taller linemen at 6'2".
Yeah, you got to be a little worried there when that 6'2" guy's coming at you.
Right. And that is one thing, I guess, to point out. 6'2" obviously isn't super tall, especially for a lineman. And Shanley, I guess, doesn't have a very tall line, but they have a very strong line as, oh, boy, Clark takes a shot. We got a loose ball picked up by the Wolves. But the play is blown dead, and I think that's because someone's knee touched the ground there after the fumble was recovered, or was Clark down before that ball actually came out?
I'm not so sure. It looks like Shanley's defense might be staying on the field.
Well, you would think, because I think that, yeah, let's get a look at the replay here, Braden. So the punt's up. A good punt from Daly, too. Travels pretty far. And then there Clark just muffs it. And that ball's out before the knee touches. So, yeah, that should be Watford ball. And I'm not quite sure why it was blown dead.
I'm not so sure either, but now it looks like Shanley's offense might be coming on the field. Let's see if we can get an explanation here.
Yeah. It does look like the offense is out there, and I think the reasoning here is that they think Clark's knee was down, which is understandable because in real time that looked like a very real possibility. Obviously, we have the benefit of slowing it down, which, again, they don't have, so you can't really pin the blame on the referees there. And now it looks like the offense might be jogging off the field. So now I just don't know what's happening, Brady.
Yeah, I'm not so sure if I've ever seen this before. It looks like they're going back and they're going to punt the ball again. I'm not sure if it was an inadvertent whistle by the referee there.
Yeah, I genuinely don't know why this is happening. Probably should. Sometimes, though, just got to admit, I really don't know what's going on. My apologies, folks.
And this I couldn't agree more.
Yeah,
I couldn't agree more with you.
This is a puzzle to me, as it looks like they're going to punt again. And the players on the field look a little confused, too. You see a lot of players' hands up.
Yeah, I'm guessing most of them have never seen this before either
right.
as well.
And you can see the referee explaining right now to Carter Knutson, one of those Watford leaders. And, well, we could use an explanation as well, Braden, but I'm sure there's a reason for it. But an unfortunate break for Watford there. It looked for a second like they might get that ball with their best field position of the day, and instead it just turns out to be a re-kick on what was a pretty solid kick already. So tough break there for the Wolves. That was a great play for them that they just have to do again. So here's the snap. Pressure coming. Fredericks was there, but Daly got it off. Clark able to get a hold of it this time, makes a move, but is drugged down by the jersey. Nice tackling that time from Camden Barnett.
Yeah, that was a great punt and then a great open field tackle.
Yeah, great job getting the hold of the jersey without getting the hold of the pads there. Wouldn't want a horse collar, so he grabs him right where he needs to. And we do want to give a shout out at this time to Glenn Lyer, watching from Portland, Oregon. I would assume relation there to Jackson Lyer, making his first start here. And, well, Glenn, you got to be happy about how Jackson's been doing, because we have not said his name a lot, which is exactly what you want from a cornerback.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's completed a ball on his side of the field yet.
As Fredericks gets wrapped up and brought down hard that time by who else but Cooper. He's been playing well defensively. And, yeah, Braden, I don't really – there might have been one or maybe one early on, but, yeah, Lyer has been locking down his man so far.
And it looks like Fredericks might have got the wind knocked out of him a little bit on the sideline.
Yeah, that was one of those plays he got thrown down sort of. And I'm not sure. Yeah, they're kind of smiling on the sideline, so I think he just got the wind knocked out. A hard hit, but I don't think too bad. Doubles formation. Kuhneman in shotgun. Looking out to his right, and Clark gets popped. Good tackling that time. First man on the scene for Watford was Kazmar. Keegan Kazmar, the senior, able to grab him around the waist.
And I'm not so sure if DeKaiser and Clark were on the same page there. It looked like DeKaiser was ready for that ball, but it ended up in Clark's hands.
Yeah, not many mistakes from Shanley. We've seen a couple like that one, but overall it's been a pretty mistake-free game for him.
And their mistakes aren't turning out to be that costly either.
As now we've got a handoff up the gut to Manuel. Manuel not going to make it very far. That's a gain of 2 or 3. Should be about 4th and 6, and now we got a flag. And that's a late flag, so I'm guessing we had something going on after the play. Or maybe they just caught something late here.
That would be correct unsportsmanlike conduct on Watford City there.
And that's not what you want if you're Watford. That's the second unsportsmanlike they've got here. Shanley with one of their own, though, as well. And usually that just means you've got maybe some tempers, you know, running on the field, which, not shocking. I mean, you're talking about a pretty physical sport here, and sometimes that's just what happens. They boil over a little bit.
And that's going to happen in the game of football, but it also could be that they're down 43 points as well.
Right. It's just a tough spot to be in. You know, you're looking at a rebuilding year for Watford after a great season last year. Definitely a little frustrating for these guys. So a tough spot. You had the 5-6 hour bus ride. So, you know, just an unfortunate thing that they hopefully won't have too much more trouble with, as Daly will bring down Kuhneman. He's stopped about 2 or 3 yards short of that first down marker. Minute 18 left to go here in this half. Shanley continuing that hurry up, not going to huddle. Kuhnman in shotgun again. He'll pitch it out to Manuel. Manuel's got some green space. Daly couldn't get him, and he's finally brought down from behind that time. Nice tackle by Peyton Morris.
Again, there were some great blocks on the outside, but you got to give some credit to Manuel. They're making a couple cutbacks to go to the middle of the field.
Yeah, Manuel, fairly fast, fairly strong. I'd say Busick's the power back, Fredericks is the speed back, and Manuel can just kind of do it all. Probably his best asset would be his vision, I'd say, Braden. He's got an excellent football IQ. Kuhnman keeping it himself here. Nice little spin move. He'll be brought down maybe a yard short of that first down marker. It was close. Clock running here, 35 seconds left. 43-0 again in favor of Shanley. We got movement on the line. I think that player got back in time, though. Watford DN sort of jumped, but I think he was out of the neutral zone before the ball was snapped. So 21 seconds on the clock here. Did Shanley use a timeout? The clock is stopped. I think they might have picked up the first. That's what happened.
I think this clock stopped for the first down, yep.
So they did get the yardage there. So now we got first and goal here for Shanley. Kuhnman options out to Manuel. Manuel cuts back inside, and he'll get the touchdown for Shanley, making it 49-0.
And another great cutback by Manuel there to get the touchdown.
Yeah, again, that's just that vision from Manuel. It's a great hole opened up again by those Deacon blockers. But, yeah, good vision, good cutback.
Manuel looks a little shaken up on the play.
Yeah, he's walking a little gingerly there. He's walking off on his own power, though, and he's not even going to leave the field, I don't think. It looks like he's staying out there. He's their long snapper. He will come off now, and that's a good decision. No point in leaving him out there to make this any worse. And you can see Kuhnman telling him, hey, just stop running there. Don't make it any worse than it is, as Manuel's just trying to shake off whatever happened. Likely pulled something or another there. Clark on the hold. Machenbacher on the kick. It's up and good. So make that 50-0 for Shanley.
Yeah, it's tough for Watford now. You can't really say much more, but they got to figure something out at half and come out here with a little fiery in their stomach to get going.
Yeah, and likely, I think here we'll see the kickoff and then probably a kneel down from Watford. Might take a shot, though. They have shown that they're willing to, take some shots here and see what they can do. We saw them on that, 3rd and 26 earlier, backed up in their own territory. They took the shot, which I like. I'd like to see even more of that as well. May as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a shot here with Schwarzenberger's arm. He's got to have a big arm being that tall quarterback.
Oh yeah, we've seen him flash it. Earlier it was a bit of an overthrow for him, but we still saw how far he could heave it, and so we might see that from him. Might see the kneel down. It'll be a decision Watford will have to make here. And we want to give a shout out to Daniel Hayes, a Watford City junior. His mom getting in contact with us, and she is currently in the hospital watching with Daniel's sick baby sister. Well, hey, we hope that your sister gets better, Daniel. Thank you for getting in contact with us, and we'll be thinking of you. Good luck with that. Thanks for getting in contact with us. Again, hope everything gets better there. So here's Machenbacher on the kick. Daly will field it. Lost it there initially. Gets back on top of it. Oh, he went down and lost the ball. Deacons jump on it. And honestly, Braden, I'm just happy to see Daly get up there because it looked like he kind of got tangled up on the turf, but he popped up right away.
Yeah, that's good to see. That could have been really dangerous.
Right. Sometimes you see it's always really scary when a guy goes down on his own, when he's not brought down, because that makes you start to wonder if he, something gave out on him. So that was good to see. Obviously, though, not what you want if you're Watford is you just turn the ball over here. Probably see Shanley kneel it down, though, you'd think, with 6 seconds left.
I wouldn't be so surprised. They're at the 20-yard line. I wouldn't be surprised if they would take a shot here, but it does look like they might kneel it down here.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what they'll do. It's a fair point, though, Braden. We know Shanley's a pretty aggressive team, but, yeah, they just take the knee there, up 50-0 at the half. So after one half of play, the Deacons out to a commanding lead. Folks, we're going to step away here real quick because we want to bring to you Shanley's halftime homecoming festivities. So I'll step away. We'll leave the mics on, though, for you to listen to those as we introduce the 2018 Shanley Homecoming Court.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. At this time, we'll be introducing Shanley's 2018 homecoming court. Selection criteria to be included in homecoming court are as follows. Which candidates best represent Shanley High School and its tradition of excellence? Which are true deacons in their mindset of service and self-giving? And which treat others with kindness, compassion, and respect? With that in mind, here is the court. Grace Beauchamp, daughter of Dan and Deb Beauchamp, escorted by Braden Bars, son of Mark and Stephanie Bars. Mary Noah, daughter of Mark and Gretchen Noah. She is escorted by Daniel Warner, son of Kent and Lisa Warner. Andrea Pablo, daughter of Eduardo Pablo and Carolina Novoa. She is escorted by Luke Noah, son of Matt and Susan Noah. Teresa Ryan, daughter of Mike and Sharon Ryan, escorted by Jake Pollard, son of John and Sharon Pollard. And your 2018 homecoming queen, Jordan Stroup, daughter of Chris and Jill Stroup. She is escorted by 2018 homecoming king Joe Mickelson, son of Todd and Peggy Mickelson. Let's hear it one more time for your 2018 Shanley homecoming court. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the game.
Of time, talent, and treasure to the JP2 schools and who reflect honorably on the network and its mission. The Deacon awardees for 2018 are Father Leo Stelton, Father Leo was not able to make it to tonight's game, so he is not on the field. The other Deacon awardee is Thomas McCormick, 1968 Shanley graduate, father graduate, grandfather of the current network students. Congratulations, Tom. The Hall of Fame honors Sacred Heart Academy or Shanley High School alumni, teams, faculty, or staff who during or after their time at Shanley High School or Sacred Heart Academy achieved a level of excellence deserving of recognition and who reflect honorably on the JP2 schools and the mission of the network. Their accomplishments can be in athletics, fine arts, leadership, service, career, or professional endeavors. The 2018 recipients are 1968 Shanley graduate Michael Deutsch, The second recipient is also a 1968 graduate, Sue Anderson Jackson. And the third recipient is a team that went 10-0 during their football season under legendary coach Sid Cichy. They were ranked number 1 in the nation in rushing with 352 yards per game, second in the nation in scoring with 47.3 points per game, and third in the nation in total offense with 463 yards per game. And that recipient is the 1967 Deacon football team. Let's give another big round of applause to all of our awardees. The recipients of these awards will be honored tomorrow evening at the banquet at St. Anne's and Joachim in the Social Hall. Congratulations to this year's honorees.
Good evening, folks, and welcome back to North Dakota High School football action. Jed Thomas here alongside Braden Altringer. And before we get back to the game, we would like to take a minute to remind you that Shanley TV is made possible in part by the Shanley Athletic Club and their generous members. Check out their website today at shanleyathletic.com to learn how your membership contributes to Shanley TV, the Deacon Den, and many other student-athlete needs. While you're there, be sure to renew your annual membership by clicking the Join Now button, or become a member if you're not one already. It's easy to become a member, and anyone can join, so sign up today. The Shanley Athletic Club, taking Deacon Athletics to a higher level. And so, folks, we're about 2 minutes away from getting this second half going. First half, obviously, you know, pretty much all Shanley there, Braden, up 50-0. Towards the end, though, we saw some better stuff out of Watford City. We saw Shanley making a few more slip-ups. We saw Watford, I think, kind of forcing them into some more errors. And certainly, I think the offense for Watford was starting to get its legs, don't you think?
Yeah, I agree with that, and that's good to see for them. It's just going to take a couple downs to get him going and hopefully put a drive together and maybe get some points on the board.
Yeah, no doubt about that. You know, they almost had the touchdown there. We're still not quite sure what happened on that muffed punt, but it looked like they were going to pick up the ball and run it into the end zone. Obviously, that wasn't the case. Still not quite sure why. But so that was a tough break for Watford. They've had, you know, a few things like that, a couple just tough breaks, some mistakes, and that's kind of what's led them to this situation so far. With that said, though, you know, like we're saying, I think we might see some better play out of them here. Some mistakes ironed out. I think we'll see him give Shanley, you know, a bit more of a run on some of these plays, especially offensively. I think we're going to see him pick things up. At least that's my prediction for this second half.
And I'm guessing during halftime they really talked about their offense and try to figure out what's going to click and what's not going to work. And I guess we'll see.
Not to mention, you know, I think they really got a breather there. We talked about that hurry-up offense for Shanley, and that Watford defense was out there, it felt like, you know, for a pretty large majority of that first half, so it's nice to see, you know, I think it'll be nice. I think they will, excuse me, I think they will be well-rested from this halftime. You know, I think we'll see them out on offense for longer durations. I don't think they'll have that defense out on the field as long. At least that's what you'd hope.
Yeah, and I think it was just a breather. But for Shanley, that really, you don't know if you really want that halftime, though, because they were clicking. You just want to keep going, so you can just score more points.
Right. You don't want to interrupt the momentum they had going. But Shanley, though, I think they'll pick up right where they left off as well. I think Watford will, you know, step it up here, but I think we'll see more of the same from Shanley, more efficient offense and shut down D. So, Wolves come out to kick this one away. Shanley will start with the ball here in the second half. Got a couple games going on around in AA. We're going to try to keep you up to date on. Biggest game, I'd say, is Jamestown Central Cass. Those are two top contenders, two top 5 teams in the polls. And that's going to be a huge game to see, you know, how close those two teams are.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game for Shanley to watch there for their film to get ready for both those teams.
Absolutely. You know, they played Jamestown. We know Jamestown's good, almost beat Shanley. Central Cass beat Devils Lake by a pretty decent margin, and Devils Lake was a, you know, they are a very strong team, and so we'll see Central Cass facing another tough test this week. We'll try to keep you updated on that game, like I said, as this is the first kickoff here for Watford. It's going to be fielded by Collins. I think that is Collins. Found the gap, got out to about the 37 or 38, and so that's where Shanley will go to work.
And Jed, right off the bat, it looks like they're going to start subbing in some of those second strings, those JV guys.
Yeah, a few more rotational players here. You'll see Kuhneman's no longer out there at quarterback. We mentioned earlier Busick had ice on the shoulder. He got shut down fairly early, and so now it's Cooper Mattern out there for Shanley. Mattern in shotgun, doubles formation, high snap, hands it off to Dean up the middle, and Dean is met immediately at the line of scrimmage. This will be tough for some of these guys who are, you know, I think we'll see Shanley bring in, you know, some of those more rotational players, guys who don't get as many minutes, and I think they're going to be in for a bit of a rude awakening going up against a Watford team that, if nothing else, they are extremely physical. These guys hit hard, and you can tell it from up here.
It's definitely going to be tough for them, but it's going to be a good experience getting them ready for their next coming years.
No doubt about it. You got to get used to getting hit hard. That's just part of football. As Dean will take the option up the left side. Dean making men miss. And that's a good run for Carson Dean. Nice redemption there after he was stuffed on that first run. He makes a lot happen on that second run.
He sure did, but you got to give a lot of credit to Mattern there. He read the defender well and pitched it out to Dean.
No surprise that Mattern would be making good decisions out there. Obviously, the son of Coach Troy Mattern, Cooper Mattern, definitely got a high football IQ. That's almost a given when you're a coach's son.
Yeah, it's nothing more to say to that.
Know the game pretty well at that point. So it's a doubles look. Dean, again, will join Mattern in the backfield. Mattern going to carry it on the QB run up the gut, and he won't make it too far. Wolves push him back hard. Gain of about a half a yard, maybe a yard. Brings up second down now.
If you're Shanley here, I think you got to stick to those outside runs because it's been a couple plays here where Wofford's really closed that inside and got tackles or tackles for loss.
Yeah, Shanley definitely got to try and maybe stretch the field out a bit more. I think that'd certainly be a good option here because, like you said, Watford's been closing down the middle. Same look again here for Shanley, although this time they'll put a man in motion, and it's a handoff on the sweep to Kochman. Kochman on the jet sweep, out for a gain of 5. Kochman playing more of a wide receiver role right now. Usually, you know, at least last year and at the beginning of this year, he's more of a running back, cornerback, but now it seems like they've kind of been transitioning him to that receiver linebacker role. It really shows his versatility.
Yeah, and I think for that offensive side, they have him out there to get those running sweeps, you know, maybe quick screens, stuff like that.
Right, I would think, you know, next year, I'm guessing he'll be one of Shanley's feature backs. My guess is he'll play running back. I don't think they'll have him at wideout considering how deep their wide receiver core is.
And I think some of it's just they want him on the field with his great athleticism.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what position he's playing is. Here's Carson Dean. That might be why Carter Kochman, you know, is playing receiver because they got Carson Dean, too, who they want to get touches.
Yeah, they're really deep at the running back position right now, so it's good to see Kochman getting out there and playing a little wide receiver.
8:50 and counting left to go in the third quarter. This ball now at the 36-yard line of Watford. A little delay here. Matt Fettner will run on. He's been subbing in and out as well. Fettner, the junior, is another one of those rotational players. 3 receivers out to the right, 1 out to the left. High snap. Mattern hands it off to Dean. Dean with space up the gut. Nice run for Carson Dean. He continues to get a lot of yards.
And again, these second stringers are still making huge holes on that offensive line, which is really good to see for Shanley.
Yeah, and again, you know, the term second stringers with some of these guys is almost not, you know, quite fair. I know, obviously, I know what you're saying, you know, but these are guys who could play. You know, these are guys who could fight for a starting job. You know, guys like Braden Block out there is pretty high up on the depth chart. Luke Beiswinger has started games, and he's out there right now. And I don't know, you know, I think that really speaks to the depth and just the overall talent of the Shanley squad. They've got so many guys that they can play. And keep in mind that Evan Bubak isn't even playing, nor is Simon Bowden. They're both out with injuries. Those are 2 more linemen who are starting caliber. 2 receivers left, 2 running backs in the backfield. Mattern runs it up the middle. A little confusion there, ran into his own back. I don't think that was his fault necessarily. I think that was just a miscommunication there between the men in the backfield.
Yeah, I'm not so sure if the play didn't come in right.
Yeah, no, I know. Part of that, I think, is the formation there, Braden. That's certainly... Shanley doesn't really use many multiple running back formations anymore. If you watch his team 2 or 3 years ago under Rod Oxendahl, it was almost exclusively full house, power eye looks, a lot out of the eye and power eye. Wingback looks, I mean, they had 3 men in the backfield at least, you know. A lot of running backs. Now under Mattern, it's usually single back sets, sometimes empty backfield. So even when you've got 2 running backs back there, that's kind of a foreign concept for some of these younger guys now.
Yeah, and they're switching up their formations quite a bit to keep the defense on the edge of their heels.
Right, it's working well. Looks like that'll bring up 4th down. No, maybe not. We do have the indication from the referee. Got just enough yardage there to get the 1st down. Nice drive here for Shanley, very methodical.
That's exactly how you want to come out of half up 50-0. You just want a long drive to run some clock off.
Yeah, tiring out Watford here. Big thing, not giving them a chance to get the ball. I mean, they have not, Watford's offense has not touched the ball here, and we're halfway through the 3rd quarter, and that's huge for Shanley because you're just not even giving them a chance here.
And that's tough for Watford. If you're not going to get the ball, you're not going to put points on the board, and you're probably going to lose some ball games.
Right, it makes it a lot tougher, just kind of frustrating. And these long drives really aren't something Shanley does a lot of. They're much more of a run-and-gun, quick-score team, as Watford does a great job tracking down Carson Dean. That's Daly who was there, along with Tyler Erickson. They both got there fast and shut down the run on the edge. Dean was able to gain 2 yards there, making it 2nd and 8.
And one thing I noticed for Watford is Cooper has not played at all on defense yet this half. I'm not sure if they're just subbing guys in or if he might be a little dinged up.
Yeah, well, you know, Cooper is certainly one of their better defensive players, and he's played so hard. Yeah, you know, I wonder if it's almost kind of a maintenance thing, you know, just a little banged up, no one injury maybe, but just kind of preserving that body for the next week. As now it's a draw to Dean. Dean gets out there for 3 or 4 yards maybe. See where they spot him. I think, well, you see Cooper will sub in now, as Watford's just kind of rotating a few more guys right now. Looks like it's going to be about 3rd and 3 or so for Shanley.
And if you're Shanley here, I wouldn't be surprised to see a sweep out to the left side. They got a lot of field to work with out there.
Yeah, they've got some options here. They're going with that doubles look. Kochman is there maybe for the sweep, like you said. Dean in the backfield again. Mattern fakes the handoff to Dean. QB run up the gut. Mattern's got plenty of space, able to get the first down. That offensive line opens up another huge hole.
Mattern on the keeper. Getting a flash on the stop for the City. Bring up a first down.
And an update from that Central Cass Jamestown game we were talking about. It is currently quarter number 1, and Central Cass is up 6-0 on the Blue Jays. So we'll keep a close eye on that one. Certainly 2 top contending teams.
Yeah, Jed, that's going to be a really good ball game to watch if you're out there.
2 receivers right, 1 left. Kochman and Dean in that backfield for Shanley. Mattern in shotgun. He'll hand it off to Kochman. Kochman has space. Good lead blocking by Dean. Evades 1 tackle. Can't get away from the next, though. Nice downhill running that time by Kochman. But Carter Knutson got him wrapped up. And, you know, we talked about getting Kochman out there at wide receiver just to get him some touches because you got the talent there. Those 2 running back sets with Dean and Kochman, I like those a lot because you're using 2 very strong running backs and giving yourself a lot of options there.
Yeah, that's a great combo to see out there. They can do a lot of different plays from that formation.
And you saw that time Dean was out there as the lead blocker playing more of a fullback role. I think both he and Kochman are capable of blocking for each other, and so it really keeps the defense guessing because they don't know what you're going to do out of that. It gives you a lot of options. Man in motion now. It's a fake sweep there to Kochman as Mattern will keep it up the gut. He'll be stopped short of the first, but he gets good yardage.
Mattern on the keeper. Short gain. Dunn on the stop for the Wolves. Bring a 3rd down and 4.
Dunn makes the tackle there to make this 3rd and about 3 or 4 here for Shanley. They're threatening now as they're inside the 10 at the Watford 9. Little delay here as Fettner will make his way onto the field for Shanley. And Braden, they have almost burned this entire 3rd quarter.
Yeah, this is quite an impressive drive by the second stringers, kind of first stringers.
And I like this a lot, shifting it from that hurry-up type of offense they used in the first half, as here's the handoff to Dean. Dean could not find a hole there as he's brought down by a host of Watford City Wolves. You could almost call them a pack of wolves. See what I did there, Braden?
Yeah, Jed, that was a really good one.
Thank you. 1:30 left to go in the 3rd. That's going to make it 4th and 4, and it looks like the Deacon offense will stay out there, Braden.
Yeah, again, this is just crediting back to Shanley's play call, and they're not going to switch it up.
Yeah, I like the bold decision here. And you've had such a long drive. They've been going for so long. Why settle for the field goal, you know? Give these guys kind of a pressure chance here, 4th and 4. You know, it's kind of all or nothing on this play for them as to whether this drive gets some points. And so I like it. Try and give them some valuable reps here. And apparently Coach Mattern understands the seriousness of it for these rotational guys, so he'll take a timeout.
Yeah, I think that's a good timeout there to get them a good play call so they can get that touchdown, which they've put almost what is that, 11 minutes now into this drive?
Yeah, I mean, it's really been incredible. 12-minute quarters, yeah, 1 minute to go. That's an 11-minute drive. And again, I wouldn't mind seeing some of this from the varsity even, you know, to start off some games. Obviously, the hurry-up works really well, but I like mixing it up using, I'd like to see some of those 2 running back sets, especially given the talent that Shanley has at running back. You know, you get Manuel and Busick back there, Manuel and Fredericks. You even go back to that full house, get all 3 of them back there. And you add in the running ability of Kuhneman, you just give yourself so many options. And it's not like they're one-dimensional right now, but they do rely pretty heavily on that passing. It'd be nice to see them just kind of, you know, show that running ability as well. Update from the St. Mary's Wahpeton game. At the end of the first quarter, it's 28-0 St. Mary's, so they're in control there. Again, another big contender. And we want to give another shout out here to August Grothman tuning in. August, thanks for tuning in. Second week in a row. Of course, a member of the Shanley football team out right now with injury at home, dealing with that as we got a dump pass over to Kochman. Kochman up the left side and into the end zone. Nice play call there and a nice run from Carter Kochman.
That was a really good play call there, and he got that man to miss, and 2 Watford City guys collided right at the end zone line.
Kochman just runs so incredibly well. It's really so impressive because he doesn't even look, I think, as fast as he is because of how he runs. He just runs with such purpose and patience, and then he kind of takes off, and he's in the end zone before you even realize it.
Yeah, he's really sneaky fast. As a defender, you wouldn't really expect that out of him.
Wise beyond his years as a runner. That's the big thing you see. And he's had a lot of experience, you know, doing this. He gets in a lot of these second-half situations. And now it looks like they're going for 2, just trying to continue to add the reps here. Clock will run. As Mattern takes it, rolling out to his right on the option play, gets it over to Dean. Dean seals the edge and gets into the end zone for the 2-point conversion. Clock will continue to run here, and the horn will sound to end the third quarter. So, Braden, the Deacons take the entire third quarter to get 8 points there. Obviously, running clock does make that a little easier here in this situation, but still really impressive to string together that drive like they did.
Yeah, if you could put a 12-minute drive together and get some points out of it, you're doing great things.
So we'll get to see that Watford offense here to start off the fourth quarter, and we'll see what they've got. Certainly, like we said, they got better towards the end of the first half, see if they can build upon that. Some of the things I liked, Braden, I liked those runs with Schwarzenberger. Earlier in the game, he didn't have a lot of opportunities to run the ball. He was under duress quite a bit. They were still trying to find their rhythm. At this point, though, I'd like to see some more runs with him and a couple more shots downfield because they've been pretty close on a lot of those passing plays.
And I think we'll just see that. We haven't gotten an opportunity to see them in the second half, so I think that first drive we'll see some of those things that you keyed in on.
New kicker out there for Shanley, Jaden Ort. Machenbacher has had a great night. No reason to keep him out there when you can get a younger guy in there kind of learning the ropes. And Ort's one of those guys who I think is really out there for his power. Crazy strong player for Shanley, only a freshman, and he's got one heck of a leg.
Yeah, he does. He kind of reminds me of Machenbacher there. They're kind of both linebackers, both with a big leg, though.
Ort not the tallest guy, standing at about 5'7", 5'8", but he's just a real compact type of guy, a really hard runner as he's plays a lot of running back as well to go along with these kicking duties you see here. And low drive there from Ort. It's muffed there by Foster. He's able to pick it up and get out to about the 28-yard line. So that's where the Deacons will stop him. Watford will go to work there. Almost to their own 30 here. We'll get our look at this offense for the first time this half.
If you're Watford here, you kind of want to do what Shanley did last quarter and have a nice long drive. Maybe not as long, but at least get some points out.
And I don't think we'll see Schwarzenberger in there. It looks like they've got Cheddar back in there at quarterback. Saw him take one play when Schwarzenberger was shaken up. And he's only a freshman. Schwarzenberger being a senior, definitely trying to get him some experience here.
And these are the games to do so where it's kind of lopsided. It's a great time to get some younger players in.
And not a great start, though, as we got a false start here against Watford City. And I think that was actually the receiver who jumped that time. Camden Barnett jumps off sides there for Watford. Another AA football update. 9:43 left to go in the second quarter of the Devils Lake Turtle Mountain game. Devils Lake leads 12-0. That's a pretty interesting game to watch. Turtle Mountain's 2-0 right now, Braden. Not a great season last year, but they've really looked a lot better. They're playing a tough Devils Lake team that played Central Cass fairly close, and that'll be a fun one to watch. Devils Lake only up 12-0 there, and they're a good ways into the game. Bobbled handoff pops all over the place and is recovered, I think, by Reese Rustad. Reese Rustad, Johnny on the spot there to scoop it up. And not a great start to that possession there, as it will end with the fumble for Watford City.
And that's kind of been the story of the night for Wolves. I think they've had a couple fumbles and a lot of botched snaps and muff punts.
And yeah, that's Rustad who gets on top of it. You can hear the cheers of Reese from the crowd. So Rustad scoops it up, and yeah, like you said, that is kind of indicative of Watford's night, just some of those errors that have cost them. We saw it early on with some fumbles and such. So Shanley offense back out there once again. Doubles formation, Mattern in at quarterback. He's going to hand this one off up the gut to Andy Simon. And Simon able to get back to the line of scrimmage, but not much further. Watford City sniffed it out. Update from that Devils Lake Turtle Mountain game. It's now 20-0 Devils Lake. So they got some more points there. Looks like a touchdown and a 2-point to make that 20-0 after the 12-0 lead we reported on just a few seconds ago. Second and 10 now. No gain on that first play for Shanley. Mattern shifting the receivers there, getting them into the correct positions. Man in motion now across the field for Shanley. We got a little jet sweep now, and oh man, big time hit laid down by the Watford City defense. Carrying that time was Isaac Emineth, and he got lit up on the far side, Braden.
Yeah, I think that might have been Cooper back in on the play.
He was certainly in on that tackle, not surprising. We've talked a lot about him so far.
And he's one of those underclassmen that's really stepping up and taking on a huge role for the Wolves.
Yeah, Cooper, you were right. It's Cooper who gets the initial hit there. And absolutely, he's certainly a name I think we'll hear a bit more of going forward. Only a sophomore, but he's looked like one of their best players, at least on defense. 3rd and 10 now for Shanley. It's a QB run up the gut. Mattern with tons of space. Cooper hits him hard, and then he goes down a little bit short of that first down marker.
And it looks like we might have our final quarterback change of the night here. Bennett Bird might come in for Cooper Mattern.
Yeah, that wouldn't be surprising. We saw Bird get in last week against Grafton. And with Mattern being a sophomore, Bird a freshman, he's certainly going to be in there in the next few years in that quarterback battle. So they come to the line with Mattern still in at QB on a 4th and 2 or 3 situation. It's going to be another QB keeper. Mattern showing some patience there in the backfield, but I don't think it'll pay off that time as he's wrapped up and brought down just short, and it'll be a turnover on downs for the Deacons. So the Shanley defense will come out now. Watford going to get another attempt on offense. Last possession started with that false start, and then they had the fumble. So definitely this time I think they're just going to look to limit those mistakes and see what they can do here, see if they can't get a couple good plays together, maybe build a drive.
Yeah, if you're Watford here, it starts with stringing a couple first downs together.
No doubt they want to get Cheddar some reps, as after this season they'll have to move on from longtime quarterback Hunter Schwarzenberger, who we've seen a lot of tonight. And it is Cheddar in at quarterback. 3 receivers out left. Cheddar going to hand this one off up the gut. And good, hard running that time from Boomer, Riley Boomer, the tailback for the Wolves. And that's good running, just head down, charging forward, able to drag a couple tacklers with him.
And that's what you need out of one of your running backs, to be that power kind of style of running.
I'll make it 2nd and About 4 yards to go now. 7:37 left to go in the fourth quarter of this one. They'll go with that same formation. Cheddar joined in the backfield by Barnett, I believe that is. And he's going to be brought down immediately, not making it too far. And that's actually not Barnett. The carrier that time is Keegan Kazmar.
Kazmar on the carry for the Wolves.
So Kazmar could make it very far there. 3rd and 3. Now the situation for Watford City. We haven't really seen Cheddar use his arm yet. Only 3 yards to go to the first down. Probably won't see it, at least on this play. As he hands this one off up the gut, and nothing there for Kazmar once again. He was met immediately in the backfield.
Yeah, he had no chance at all to get that and break that out.
And it looks like Watford City is going to punt here. Makes sense so deep in your own territory. Thought we might see him try it here with not a ton of time left in the fourth. A little confusion here for Shanley, as I think they're trying to transition from defense to punt return, and they're a little late getting that going. John Gores will be back there to return, and he has got some real dynamic ability. John Gores, one of the fastest guys on this team.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised here if he gets a good punt if we see him break one to the end zone.
Well, it's a low-line drive, so Gores not really going to get a chance to field this one, as it's going to be blown dead there just past the 50-yard line, or just inside, I guess. And that's where Shanley will go back to work.
It does look like Madden will come out again, and we will not see that quarterback change quite yet.
No, only 5:55 left, so depends on how the game goes. Might see Bird get in there, might not. And we want to give another shout out here to Mark and Ben Del Greco. Mark watching from Cambodia and Ben from Bangkok, Thailand. So 2 exotic locations there, just checking off more countries on our list of viewers. Thanks a lot for watching there, Mark and Ben. So glad to have you tuning in. Boy, people from a lot of different places here tonight.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see.
Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. It's been fun to bring this game to you here tonight. Great way to finish off this homecoming week here. We still got 5:40 left to go, so plenty of football left. Had some good soccer earlier in the week, had some good volleyball too, and those were wins for Shanley. They picked up a 5-0 win over North in soccer, and then 3-0 over Wahpeton in volleyball last night, and they're looking like they'll come away with a win here against Watford now. So good homecoming week for the Deacons, Braden.
Yeah, it's been a great homecoming week. Couldn't really ask for much more if you're a Shanley sports fan.
No, absolutely not. So 5:15 left to go here. That carry doesn't go for much. Doesn't look like a gain of anything for the Deacons that time.
Again, you see them here just taking some time off, running the clock down so this ball game can end.
Doubles look. Mattern in shotgun. Got a man in motion. It's another jet sweep try. There's some space up the far side. And brought down for a gain of 8 or 9 that time was Jack Crystal, showing some speed around the edge.
Yeah, he's another guy that could fit into that running back position next year. It's just going to be a tough battle to see who comes out on top with it.
Yeah, Shanley really displaying a lot of depth at those skill positions. And, of course, we already know they've got some good depth on the line. We saw a lot of that here today. Another thing we haven't talked about is the injury to Emmett Kenny, the kicker. He was slated to battle it out with Machenbacher, for kicking duties this season. I think he had a pretty good shot at being their main field goal and PAT kicker, and he unfortunately suffered an injury in the offseason. They'll keep him out this year, but that's a name to watch on special teams going forward, as Crystal can't really find the edge this time.
Yeah, I think he would have been their longer field goal kicker, and next year I think he'll be just fine after this injury.
Yeah, upper body injury, pretty good for a kicker, obviously. Long-term soccer player too as well, held out that soccer season. But yeah, so there's another one of those injured Deacons that probably won't see this year, but named to watch next year. Dylan Earholt's another one who's injured, and then like we said, Bowden and Bubak are the 2 who would probably be seeing the most time that are injured right now. I don't think Busix is too serious, as again, he's just kind of been icing and standing on that sideline.
I'm guessing it's just more of a precautionary to get ready
Right.
for Central Cass next week.
Yeah, that's going to be a big game. No doubt the Deacons want to have fresh bodies for that one. And there's a good tackle. I think Mattern does get it on 4th down. It looks like he was there, but still, nice pursuit and a good tackle by Jacob Schwarzenberger. Just couldn't quite get him soon enough. Under 3 minutes now left to go in this game. Fresh set of downs for Shanley after the 4th down conversion. Doubles look now for the Deacons as Mattern sells the fake well. Jaden Ort down inside the 20, and there's Jaden Ort for you, Braden. That was some serious speed.
Yeah, there's another guy that you could see in the running back or wide receiver mix next year.
An update from that Jamestown Central Cass game. 1:17 left to go in the half, and Jamestown leads the Squirrels 7-6. So good back and forth going on in that game.
And that's exactly what we expected for that game. It's two good ball teams going at it.
Certainly a defensive struggle out there, which isn't stunning. Central Cass, though, has a pretty high-powered offense. Jonah Leitz, that quarterback, is a name to watch.
Yeah, Shanley's really going to have to key in on him on film this week.
And they haven't faced many passing offenses. Obviously, you know, they're a very pass-heavy offense, but their defense hasn't had to go up against teams that throw the ball too much. So that's going to be a pretty big game for them. It's going to be a huge test of their defensive backs, and I'm not really sure as to what state Buckles is in terms of if he could play. You know, indications I heard were it might be a few weeks, so I'm not sure if he'll be back in time for that one. But boy, as an all-state shutdown corner, he's a guy you'd really hope could be back for that game.
As much as you want him to be back, you want him to be healthy, and you don't want him out for longer periods of time than he has to be.
Absolutely, you don't want to bring him back in, you know, make an injury worse, and now you're looking at losing him for playoffs. So it's a tough decision, but you know, my guess is if they don't feel he's ready to go, he won't be out there, no way. As Bird now is in at quarterback, and he carries. Good for a first down that time with just 1:05 left on the clock.
Schwarzenberger on the stop for first and goal for the Deacons.
Shanley looking like they will move to 3-0 here while Watford falls to 0-3. And Watford really is kind of continuing a building year. You know, they lost 14 seniors off last year's squad. You lose Jaden Ewing, the AA Player of the Year, one of the best players I think AA's produced in a while. I mean, he was just a real game changer for them. Whole host of other seniors who went on to play college ball. It's just kind of a tough year for Watford to try and acclimate to losing that class, I think.
Yeah, and you can't really do much when you're kind of working from a new beginning, almost, if you would say.
Not starting over, but certainly starting fresh in a lot of regards. A lot of new players, trying to institute a lot of new things. So a tough season if you're Watford so far at 0-3. Still a lot of season left to play, though, as these younger guys get more experience. You know, wouldn't surprise me if they're a team that kind of picks it up in the second half of the season. We saw Central Cass do that last year, and look at them this year. Time winds down, though, after the kneel down. The horn sounds, and 58-0 is the score that goes in the books. A big-time win for Shanley here, Braden. Now, we talked a lot about it. Next week, they'll be taking on Central Cass. Watford, meanwhile, will move on, continuing to look for that first win. What do you see for these teams going forward?
Well, for Shanley, I see a really good test for them next week in that Central Cass game. That's going to be a really good game for them to get kind of going and see where they're at in the rankings there. And for Watford City, it's just going to get back to the fundamentals of football. Tackling, getting the snaps. I think that's really one thing they really need to focus on is ball protection.
No doubt about it, looking to cut down on some of those mistakes we saw today. Those continue to improve, though. Like we said, get those young guys the experience. Like you said, Shanley will look to pick up a big win against Central Cass. Folks, just want to remind you, we won't have that game for you. It's away at Central Cass, but certainly a big game. Coming up in a few weeks, we'll have the St. Mary's game for you, though. That'll be another huge game, big rivalry game. That's going to be on September 28th, I believe that is, that Friday. So a lot to look forward to here for both teams going forward. However, for tonight, for Braden Altringer and for our entire crew, I'm Jed Thomas. Your final score from Fargo: Shanley Deacons 58, Watford City Wolves 0. To watch the archived version of this entire game and our other broadcasts, go to shanleytv.com. The proceeding has been a presentation of Shanley TV.